Well, hi friends. I know I'm late. I also know that last week I was under the weather and I wasn't able to upload any reading, but I'm back and today is Monday, June 23rd. It's about 9 o'clock at night though, so it's a little late, but better late than never. Okay, first card out is what Spirit would like to speak with us about. Oh, it's the lilies, my favorite card. Okay, next card out is the house. And we have the whip. And we have the dog, the cross, the garden, the lady, the child, and the birds. Boy, it kind of reiterated what I just said. The whip is the most challenging card in the deck. The challenges that we have to overcome make us stronger, obviously, but they don't feel so good when it's happening to you. I personally had another issue today. It does create tension, it creates uncertainties, but always made it through, so what makes me feel that it will be any different this time, right? So, the final outcome on that portrait is the home. The home is your family, your close network of people, whether it's at work or in your home environment. And then the child, the upper left-hand corner. That could be something new. And with it being in the same line with the lily and the garden, I can't help but think that that is wisdom and networking and problem solving feeling to it. Okay, so maybe consult the experts, and maybe or even grandparents or wise counsel. Okay, and the whip and the dog, that could be friends that bring benefit. Okay, so maybe ask around for help. Okay, next card out is the letter. Then we've got the moon, then we've got the fish, then we've got the flowers, the clouds, the stars, the heart, the crossroads, and the stork. The crossroads is our change card, like which path that we're going to take, or it could be a bumpy road, which that's probably what caused my problem today. But the stork is like a fresh start. It's that would be like progress, forward momentum, a little bit of freedom feel to it. And then we've got the stars, the heart, and then we have the moon. So that would be like, a loving relationships, softer energies. But then the clouds are there. So the clouds can be, your thoughts, but they can also be your concerns. Okay, so once again, the things that we worry about can manifest. So just be mindful of what types of things that you're ruminating over or worrying too much over. Okay, then we've got the snake, which reiterates that right out of the deck. And then we've got the book, the tree, the scythe, the mountain, the ring, the gentleman, and the sun. So I feel like there's a return of some sort of a removal, something that has been removed. I feel like there is a return of that. So I don't know if maybe something is resurfacing, an issue that you thought you'd resolved has returned. But the snake and the scythe together, that kind of has that snake bite feel to it. So just be cautious if there's anybody returning. Just be kind, obviously, but maybe use your wise discernment there. Okay, then we've got the tree and the coffin. That's your transformational energies. I like to see that, and I do see the sun in that mix, which is lovely. Okay, so I feel like the relationship is good. It's just maybe just take it slow. Okay, then we've got the cavalier, or the rider. Then we've got the mice, the bear, the anchor, the clover, the key, the ship, the tower, and the fox. the fox and that tower, that can kind of be like, you know, like a professional. It could be, you know, somebody that works in an establishment career. So it could be many multiple career choices. So, you know, obviously it's just a professional. You know, whether it be, you know, realtor, whether it be a professor at a college, whether it be, you know, an executive, but somebody in a higher up position. I feel like there is some sort of a collaboration there. So, you know, I don't know if maybe, you know, you're seeking, you know, maybe a bank loan or a real estate agent or, you know, that sort of thing. But whatever it is, it's going to bring blessing because that clover is there, okay? So that could be, you know, maybe something that you're going to benefit from, or you know, maybe a little bit of stroke of luck feel to it. You know, it could be a big win even, okay? All right. I'm just laying the cards out now so that we'll be able to read them in their little storylines. That's what I like about those portraits, though. They kind of give you the feel of it, and then when you lay them out, then it kind of, you know, speaks a little more clarity to those portraits, okay? Or maybe adds a little bit more substance to it. Now, the upper left-hand corner is that child. That's that new beginning, okay? And then the upper right is the key, so that's your solution. So even if you are going through a period of uncertainty, there is going to be, you know, the solution is going to be figured out. You know, you're not going to be left stranded. I can laugh at that right now. If I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying. All right. I had to move my board because, you know, when I turned my air conditioning on, it was kind of blocking the airflow. So I moved my board onto my table, which I kind of like because it shows what houses each one of my cards are in. And I feel like that solution that's going to happen is financially, a financial type of a solution to our issues, okay? Because it's with the fish. So if we're having any financial struggles right now, there will be a solution, okay? And it could possibly have to do with an official, either banking institution or, you know, maybe financial planner, you know, an attorney, that sort of thing, okay? The middle card is the scythe. That scythe is our, you know, our change card. It can also be, it could be like a surgery, but it could be, you know, something that's kind of painful. But I do see the clovers next to it, so that's kind of like, you know, maybe that blessing in disguise feel with the snake there as well. But a lucky break or a stroke of luck, that feel, okay? Also a little bit of an aha moment because the stars are there, okay? So I feel like there is going to be something that's going to be like a break in the cloud kind of a feel to it. Something sudden too. It's not going to be, you know, it's going to like maybe come out of thin air feel, okay? Let's see what else. I feel that there's a little bit of stagnant, stuck energy, but it's transformational. So, you know, that could be, you know, rest and recharge, feeling, you know, get plenty of rest so that your body is able to recharge. But, you know, also that card has a depressed feel to it. And what depression is I mean, the root words are deep rest. It's your body needing deep rest. So, you know, take that time out and you know, go within, and, you know, because sometimes I think that we get overwhelmed with life, and it can feel very overwhelming, and that's when that depression can set in. It's kind of like, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore. And you just need to take a break, step back, rest and recharge so that you can come back feeling more invigorated, rejuvenated. The flowers are here, okay? You know, I mean, and a lot of people don't want to ask for help, and a lot of people want to be the ones that are being helpful. And there's, you know, there's a time for everything. You know, the reaping and the sowing, the helping and the receiving. You know, so we have to, you know, make sure that we are feeling that and doing, you know, going with the flow more or less. Okay, so if someone's in need, you help them, but if you're in need, be receptive to the help. I know what personally I have a hard time with that. I would much rather be that one helpful person and not be the needy person. But like I said, you know, that there's a time for that for everybody in their life. So let's see what else. Roxy's barking. What else does that mean? Yeah, there's the mice there. You know, I feel like there are some concerns, and it can be friend related. It can be, you know, I don't know. I just kind of feel like the sun is there, so it's positive. But I do feel that there's a little bit of transformation there. So things maybe are changing. And some, like I've said before, change doesn't feel so good. But you know, I know that if you haven't talked to a friend in a while and then you talk to them, it's like no time has passed. It's that feeling to me. Yeah, you know, we all get busy and we all, you know, have our own lives and the things that we have to take care of. And sometimes we feel like we're neglecting those that we love, but in reality, you know, we're not neglecting. We're taking care of ourselves, or we're taking care of others who need our help, whether it be your children, your career, and your family. You know, like in my situation, you know, my dad needs a lot of help these days. So, you know, having that extra responsibility, you know, can drain your time, and then, you know, guilt will set in that you're not, you know, spending as much quality time with your friendships or your children. Okay, but you know, you have to take that time because, you know, that's where you're wanted and needed at that moment. So try not to feel overwhelmed or guilty about that. Okay, just take one step at a time, go with that flow. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I see a little bit of shadow energy, you know, that darker energy. You know, that, you know, there's the as above, so below. You know, the lower you can go, the higher you can evolve. You know, so that's what I'm saying with, you know, if you're feeling a little down and out, you know, you need to address those things that may be causing those feelings so that you're able to overcome it and become stronger. Okay. I mean, everybody goes through those seasons in their life. You know, it's not always, you know, bed of roses. You know, life has its moments and its challenges, but you know, when people come together and that builds those bonds that are you know, last forever. You know, so just be there for one another. You know, I guess that would be what I would take away from that. Oh, let's see. I do see some challenging decision. There's a decision that needs to be made. It has a little bit of a mystery attached to it. So that would be like, you know, being attached to the outcome. You know, I think we want all the facts before we make a decision, but sometimes we're not meant to know. But if we can take what is the best step today, each small step will lead to, you know, where you're meant to be. And nothing that's meant for you will pass you by. So try not to worry too much. And maybe allow for that little bit of a mystery to be a pleasant surprise. Okay? You know, it's hard sometimes though, you know, especially if you are in, you know, out of your comfort zone or feeling like you're out of your element. You know, sometimes it's hard to take that step. But what do they say? Either, you know, day one or one day. Let it be today, okay? No better time than the present. That's why it's called the present, right? It's a gift. Oh, which, you know, I have to laugh because my flowers are right here, and that card somehow was in my deck upside down. And I'm pretty OCD about things, so I'm not sure how that flower got upside down, but that, I think that was Spirit kind of wanting to highlight that card. All right. But change is definitely in the center, so there is some big changes. And it's a positive decision that it would be like, you know, the focal point is the sun and the clover. So whatever decision it is that you're having to make, once again, you know, if there are children involved, make sure it's in the best interest of your children. But just take those small steps that you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? How do you climb a mountain, you know, one step at a time? You have to take those, you have to take action is what they're saying. You can't just, you know, stick your head in the sand. You have to take action, okay? But one small step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Let's see. That mountain, I'd love for it to mean like, you know, it's like a new chapter or a leveling up feeling. And that delay and challenge can be to your benefit, but it could also mean Spirit is just saying that there is a little bit of stagnant, stuck energy, and it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to happen overnight, but there is success. But there is going to be a bumpy road along the way, so you just have to prepare for that. Don't get discouraged, you know, but I do feel that the outcome is going to be positive, and it's going to be a blessing in disguise, if not a lucky break. Okay. Let's see. I feel like there might be news of a child because I see the child and the stork together. I have to laugh because storks have been the theme this week for me, and that isn't a focal spot. So that's nice. So that could be either a birth of a child, it could be a birth of something new, a new project, it could be a new business, it could be just something new, and that could be where this change is coming into focal point too, okay? You know, that growing pain kind of feel to it. It'll be all right though. Just hang in there, have faith. I think that's about it though. I think I covered all of our bases this week. But once again, I apologize for missing last week and being a little late today, but better time than the present. So better late than never. And you have a blessed week, folks. Take care. I love you all. Bye-bye.